Radio Show. Gary, this is Good morning to you.
Good morning, Grenada. Good morning, Grenada. Good morning, Grenada. Good morning, Grenada. Let me say good morning to our sister Isles of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Good morning. Let me say good morning to my bro, Gary. Good morning, bro. How you doing?
Good morning to you, GT. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right.
Wonderful. Good morning to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Mm-hmm. Good morning.
What's up with you this morning, bro? What's up with you this morning?
Man, everything is good. I'm trying to get my headphones
I find you in a little bit of a somber mood this morning for some reason.
Yeah, I find something doesn't quite sound right on my end, and I'm not too sure why.
Well, that's gonna be rectified. Let's just roll on this morning.
Don't know why. Something in song something. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's gonna be sorted out. Then don't worry about that. Hey, folks, how you doing? Let's say good morning to, of course, our online listeners this morning, especially those of you via Facebook, those of you via YouTube, those platforms. Good morning. Thanks for making us your choice. Of course, thanks for you, of course, allowing us to come into your homes and just
Most
get
definitely.
you up and running in the morning time.
Okay.
Yes.
I sound better in my headphones now. So.
All right. So
okay.
you sort it out.
All right, properly.
All right.
Yeah, so we are here. We have a really bumper show for you this morning. Of course, you know we've got the AM edition of news coming your way at 6:45. We also got the Celebration Club. That's comes your way a bit later on this morning. So all of now, you can send us your birthday, anniversary shout-outs. We'll make sure we get that out on air for you guys.
Great. Let's get things started, Gary. Let's get things started. Let's kick it off. You have the word of the day. Are you ready for that?
I am certainly. The word of the day is, and we getting ready, is voluble. Voluble. All right. It's an adjective. And if we ought to use it in a sentence here, it says, during the public forum, the tongue's more voluble residents expressed their displeasure with the council's decision to increase property tax. It's the word as an adjective. It means easily rolling or turning. All right, if I should follow what's on TV right now. All right, it's characterized by ready or rapid speech. So you can use the word voluble in a sentence today. All right, so someone who speaks a lot, someone who tends to speak quite loudly and aggressively, you can say that person, you can use that word in that context.
You know, someone just come to mind there just for a second, but I ain't gonna go into that. Anyway, let's get into
not just go there.
Let's just anyway, let's get into the thought of the day, and this is an interesting thought for the day that folks who are listening and viewing can probably give it some attention. You know, a child can teach an adult three things. Yes, to be happy for no reason, to always be busy with something, and to know how to demand with all his might, of course, and that which he desires. Let me take this back from the top for you, get a smoother flow on it. A child can teach an adult three things: to be happy with no reason, to always be busy with something, and to know how to demand with all his might that which he desires. You know, Gary, that's an important code.
I am laughing because, as you know, GT, I got a 1-year-old child in my house, and he is a handful. He is a handful.
Man, Gary,
and let me tell you something.
I know. When
that child wants his way, he goes out of his mind when he can't get his way. You know what I mean? And as I'm reading this thought of the day, it harkened me back to my experiences with my loved one, with my son. And, you know, I see how determined he is. You know, and oftentimes we tend to, that determination, you know, reduces as they grow older, but it's, you know, we as parents should probably try not to do that. You see what I'm saying?
Children just have a way of knowing how to, of course, just getting to the moms and dads these days, and get them to do whatever they want to do.
All right,
it's a different world. It's a different world. It's a different world. That's simply, I will say, it's a different world.
That's right.
All right.
Well, we're going to jump straight inside of your health tip for today. And today we're going to look at the benefits of pineapple juice. When last have you had pineapple pineapple juice earlier.
I haven't had that in a while.
Well,
I'll be honest about it. I haven't had pineapple juice in a while.
Definitely, neither have I. But here are some of the benefits. Might shock you. It boosts your immunity, and today more than any other time,
you need that immunity boost.
Yes, definitely need that. Aids in digestion, relieves cough and sinusitis, reduces arthritis pain, strengthens bones, reduces period cramps, lower the risk of cancer. So if you haven't had cancer, if you haven't had pineapple juice in a while, you definitely want to grab a glass of pineapple juice today.
It has a lot of benefits. So if you never knew that pineapple juice had all these benefits, now you know.
Who would have known?
Yeah. And some folks may, it may not always be the best tasting of juices for some folks. You understand? Yeah. I guess that's the
and some people kind of allergic to it too.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Let's take a look at the COVID dashboard. I'm not sure if Master Control has got it. GT, you got it by your end?
Yeah, I got it on my end.
It does not look pretty. It doesn't look pretty, Gary. It doesn't look pretty. I got up this morning and I was like, I almost fell out of my seat.
Which means there were actually low turnouts over the weekend in terms of testing, I will assume, because we got a 30 and we got a 72, was it? And which means there were not a lot of folks came out for testing over the weekend. But folks, there's new confirmed cases now on island of 501. New confirmed cases. Active cases on island right now, those active cases has gotten to a total of 2,286 in terms of active cases. 41, of course, new recoveries. That's what folks who have gotten over. I wish you all the best. Those of you who have recovered, certainly hope that you're doing your best to not have a recurrence. You understand?
Yeah, man.
And we're talking about persons who are currently hospitalized. 6 individuals, of course, are currently hospitalized, and certainly hope they recover soon. Which give us a test positivity rate of 27.3%, Gary. Wow. Oh, man.
Of a total number of 1,816 that were persons that were tested yesterday.
Wow.
So, my friends, here we are. 501 new cases, 22, just over 2,200 cases, active cases in Grenada right now. The Prime Minister, and you got that notice by you there, GT. You can share that
of course, the Prime Minister will host a press conference that will be on the 12th of January, and of course that will come across live on GIS, and certainly, of course, it may be rebroadcast here on GBN TV, and of course, a radio platform, so you can listen up for that. Not much details were given in terms of the content, but looking for that Prime Minister's press conference.
I was going to say, you think they're going to go through another lockdown, GT?
Let me tickle people's mind. I was just going to say that.
Well, let's get our friends on Facebook. Those are viewing us on Facebook and YouTube. Let's get your response now. What do you think the PM is going to? What do you think he's going to be saying during that press conference? Is it a press?
Yeah, just a press briefing per se, or conference per se.
It's not necessarily an address to the nation.
Not an address to the nation.
Okay, so with an address to the nation,
that's when you can become a little bit worried.
A little bit more serious. But with a press conference, well, he could make that announcement during a press conference. It's not that he can't. I think it has been done before. All right, but let's see exactly what will be said during that press conference, if there will be any hint of us going back to some state of lockdown, curfew, etc., etc. God forbid.
God forbid. And we don't want that right now.
No, definitely. So we're inviting folks on Facebook to song.
Things are not 100% stable right now, but we're still encouraging. As of course, individuals, especially when you're going out there, don't forget to sanitize. Gary, encourage folks to sanitize. Maintain your social distance. You understand? And wear that mask, especially when you're out in public,
especially when you're
and avoid congregating with large gatherings or being part of large gatherings. If you could avoid it 100%, avoid it 100%. You understand? You may see, Voice has a song that when he says, he don't want a problem. Just say hi and hello, and
say hi and hello from a distance.
Just give him a big wave.
Keep it moving.
Just give a big wave and keep moving. Of course, can save yourself and your family by just simply doing that.
We have a cruise liner a cruise ship that is coming in today. The Grenada of the Seas from from Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. They'll be coming in today at 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we're gonna make sure we welcome all our visitors. It's a passenger capacity of 2,440. Crew capacity is 760.
Yes.
And so so remember, if you're not vaccinated, you can't
go into the Esplanade Mall.
Esplanade Mall.
All right.
You must be fully vaccinated during the time that cruise ship is going to be there. After they are gone, you're
free to roam that particular area of the mall.
You could go back.
Yeah, that's but the Bruce Street side is open for public access. Of course, anyone can use the Bruce Street side because folks never knew there was two sides of the mall. Some folks never knew that. You understand? So there's the Esplanade side mall part, and there's the Bruce Street Mall. So,
okay, but before you go any further, GT, we're gonna throw out a trivia, but we're gonna invite folks to answer the question, and when we come back from the next break, they will give us the answer. We'll see who has the correct answer. All right. Do you know how many muscles you use to take a single step forward? Do you know how many muscles?
I don't know. I don't know that, Gary. I have never paid attention to that.
It's a A, B, or C answer. The A, of course, 50. B, 200. C, 450. Oh. You think you got the correct answer?
Of course, let's hear folks with you to ponder on that for
ponder on that a bit. And after the news, after the break, we'll see, of course, who's got the correct answer. You can sound off, of course, on Facebook, on YouTube, on our WhatsApp. We also want to pick your brain as to what you think is going to be revealed from the Prime Minister during, of course, the press conference, which is tomorrow.
Hey, folks, we're moving up to exactly 15 minutes before the top of the hour here on K105 and Hot 98. It's Good Morning Grenada. The AM edition of news is next here on K105 and Hot 98.
They've surpassed the requirements of having 50% of the operators fully vaccinated. However, members of the Grenada Water Taxi Association say they're now wondering what they've done wrong. Association members say they're still awaiting word from tourism officials. Gerard Joseph is following that story.
They were left out of the initial stakeholder meeting, which occurred before the resumption of the cruise ship industry, and are now being made to wait to begin tours with cruise ship passengers within the bubble. According to Oscar Bartholomew, member of the Grenada Water Taxi Association, during a meeting with Tourism Minister Clarice Modest-Cowan in November last year, vaccination was preached as the way forward.
I asked the minister, why are we not working, or when we could start to work? And she response was like, we are holding up ourselves. All they need from us is our vaccination status.
Business at the Vendors Mall is also taking a hit as the cruise ship passengers historically patronized via these water taxis.
Problem we have on Grenada Beach because the Water Taxi Association, we really need it because why? 90% of the people who come to Grenada Beach anytime they board the water taxi is straight to the bubbles on Grenada Beach, and without the water taxi, the vendors market is suffering.
Of the 14 members of the association, 12 are fully vaccinated, as well as all of their conductors, with the documentation provided to the ministry. Having surpassed the quota given by tourism officials of 50% of members fully vaccinated, Bartholomew says they are now being left to wait in agony.
I have a disability. Nobody in Grenada can give me no work nowhere else. That's what I do since 1989 down there. I in water taxi. I in the water taxi, so in the water taxi business. And I mean, it's hurtful. It is hurtful, very, very, very much. And it's paining me because I have families to feed. I have my bills to pay. I have insurance and license and all of these things going on. I'm home. I'm supposed to go on the side of the road and go to the minister's office and ask them for $2 when I want to pay my bill. Is that what they want me to do? No, I don't want to do that. I want to continue being independent as I've always been.
The water taxi operators are alleging that new licenses are being issued while they are made to wait.
Mr. Dr. Keith Mitchell, sir. All right, use the one on top. Please do something about it. Do something about it, because it's the same people, sir. It's the same Grenada people who put you there.
Emmanuel Fleming, president of the Grenada Water Taxi Association, is making a clarion call to government.
I don't know what Grenada Water Taxi have done to them. They is barring us from working and giving people. I would say, if to say there is no water taxi service, it should be across the board. You don't favor some and don't favor some. It should be across the board. And the minister need to get up and and the minister need to do that which is right.
Chairman of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Barry Colmo, admits that if this is the case, it's a failing on their part and the team at the GTA has to do a better job. Colmo tells GBN that he has reached out to GTA CEO Petra Roach to swiftly resolve the issue.
And she has committed to ensuring that she contacts them this evening or for the latest tomorrow. So I expect some urgent action on this, because don't forget, when we said that we were having these bubbles, we said that the reason that we were having these bubbles, not only to protect lives and livelihoods, but we said that we wanted to create an equitable playing field for the small, medium, and large operators, and the Water Taxi Association are a historic part of the cruise industry.
I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Government has responded to the complaints of workers at the state-owned printery. Work commenced on Monday on the roof of the building. Details in this report.
Work on the government printery has commenced. President of the Public Workers Union, Brian Grimes, who championed the cause of the workers, says he is pleased that something is being done to improve the working condition for employees there. Grimes says the union is concerned about the air extractors, which would limit the amount of chemicals in the air where the employees operate. However, he remains hopeful that this too will be addressed.
Well, I must say I am happy that the government has moved expeditiously to try and remedy this matter. I mean, there was no other course, because the footage would show it's a very, very severe matter, and they stated that they would act. A number of ministers came and they are in agreement with the union that the conditions need to be improved and better. And today, Monday, we are seeing that work has commenced. So they are starting on the roof. There are a number of things to be done. So it must be done in stages, right? So it seems as though the first thing they are doing is ensuring that the water that comes into the building is alleviated. So they're going to fix that.
Christopher Cromwell, manager of the government printery, pointed out some of the issues they faced.
Time now we have been experiencing leaks in the roof, and it has been adversely affecting our ability to serve the public and our customers properly. We have made the call for remedial work to be done, and we are now very glad and excited to know that work has started in earnest, and we hope that this resolution and this solution that the government has put in place would once and for all solve the problem.
Desmond John from Sunrise Construction Company, the contractor on the project, explained what will be done. John estimates that this scope of work should take at least 1 month.
Basically, well, we won this tender during the course of last week. It was public tender. Fortunately, we was awarded. I'm grateful for that. The scope of works is to build a false roof on the existing roof to alleviate and take away all the water that will be falling on the roof. It includes some concrete beams on top the existing concrete roof that's there for futuristic development. and on that we will do some rafters, 2x6 rafters, purlines, galvanized, and some spouting and dung pipes. So as fast as water fall on the roof, they will have a speedy runoff, which will alleviate the problem where there is ingress of water inside the building currently.
Christelina John, GBN News.
And note that this story, reports reaching GBN say that police have arrested and charged a lecturer at a tertiary institution with 4 counts of indecent assault. We toss back to Christelina John for that report.
Police have not disclosed nor wished to confirm the name of a well-known lecturer on the island accused of 4 counts of indecent assault on a 19-year-old, but have confirmed 4 charges slapped on that individual. The individual is described as someone known for his stance and outspokenness on a number of issues, including that of child sexual abuse. According to reports, the alleged victim, believed to be a student of the institution, is from River Road, St. George. The alleged perpetrator was arrested and charged Monday at the South St. George Police Station by officers attached to the Criminal Investigations Department. The incident is reported to have occurred between January 1st, 2021 and April 18th, 2021. This matter, GBN understand, has been under investigation since October 2021. The accused has been placed on bail in the sum of 10,000 EC dollars with 1 surety and will make his first court appearance at the St. George's Magistrate Court on February 8th, 2022. Christelina John, GBN News.
In related news this evening, domestic violence continues to be a vexing issue, and there are continued calls for those in authority to have a clamp placed on this. The former Attorney General Darshan Ramdani says there may soon be some light at the end of the tunnel.
Former Attorney General and now Queen's Counsel Darshan Ramdani is hoping for some adjustment to be made to the laws that deals with violence against women and girls. Ramdani, who is involved in the legislative component of the Spotlight Initiative, highlighted some of the recommendations put forward to stakeholders for review. The QC says violence is not always physical, however, noted inequality as one area that could most likely perpetuate one form of violence.
We have made a recommendation that the preliminary inquiry process, that oral preliminary inquiry, where witnesses have to stand up in the magistrate's court and go through this whole process as though they were standing before a jury, that should be abolished. And so we are making this recommendation as part of the Spotlight Initiative under the legislative reform component, that the need for paper committals should be brought on, should be something that we must examine carefully, examine it as carefully as we can. And there is no need, in my view, that there should be oral committal hearings continuing in Grenada or in any of the Caribbean countries or anywhere in the world.
The QC believes the process of hearing some matters is too tedious and would like the length of time for those hearings to be shortened and less traumatizing to the victims, who are usually young children.
Any person charged with a criminal offense is going to get a trial. We are not asking that trials be abolished. You will have your day in court. You will have all of the safeguards in court. But why should we have to put a victim through this oral hearing twice, all these witnesses twice? We feel that this is unnecessary to provide justice to each side. We must find a system, and these are some of the recommendations that are being made currently. We must find a mechanism that will prevent that trauma being imposed on that child because the defendant himself is asking questions. And some of the recommendations that are being made will remove that. The court will have a power. In certain cases, the law will state clearly that the defendant should not ask these questions. And in certain cases, when he can ask, the court will still have a discretion to say, no, in this particular case, I'm going to put some special measures in place.
Ramdani highlighted the rippling effect this can have on all those involved in the process.
Impact emotionally, socially, psychologically, financially, and every other facet of human life is far-reaching, has a ripple effect, and we some of us can't begin to understand, including myself, how far this reaches.
Coordinator of the Spotlight Initiative is Elaine Henry McQueen. She explained that the sole purpose of the Spotlight Initiative, which is part of a wider global partnership, is to end the violence against women and girls.
We are grateful that through the UN and the EU, Grenada has this investments now, which can allow us to address gender-based violence or violence against women and girls in a comprehensive manner by looking at 6 pillars. One is law reform, which we're going to focus on today, but another is institutional strengthening. The third is prevention. The fourth is improving services. The fifth is data collection and processing. And the sixth is strengthening the women's movement and civil society.
Both individuals were guests on GBN's Mid-Morning Buzz with host Joseph Kador. Christelina John, GBN News.
And welcome back. Absenteeism among employees continues to escalate as Grenada experiences another COVID-19 wave. Some businesses have been forced to shut their doors as staff members are reporting symptoms of the virus and are being tested positive. Private sector Senator Christopher Diali tells GBN that despite the challenges, their stance is to keep their doors open where possible.
Vaccination has proved worthwhile in avoiding the most severe symptoms of COVID-19 while shortening the period of time being spent in isolation. Private sector Senator Christopher Diali says this is one of the lessons learned from the first COVID-19 wave, as he noted entities with high vaccination rates have had workers return sooner.
We have checked on these workers. We are finding that very few of them are seriously ill. They may have a cough, they may have a slight fever, and various body pains, varying from different individuals. But it has been less severe than when we experienced the first wave, where we had to shut doors and close down businesses, and the protocols that we had to adopt was far more serious.
Senator Diali says they have not had to issue work-at-home passes, as in the first wave, which demonstrates an increased level of preparedness.
It is affecting our productivity, as you would expect, because once staff is away, productivity gets affected, but we are trying to work within those cycles. And because the time is short, between 5 to 7 days, you get tested, and then, a further 5 days, if possible, to test to check your status. We are seeing that, most so staff are returning quicker than normal than when we had the first wave. So that has helped.
The Senator highlights that the entertainment sector, restaurants and nightclubs will again be impacted due to the increased contagious nature of the Omicron variant. He also notes that the lack of discipline of citizens to strictly follow the protocols and curb the spread of the virus.
But for us in the private sector, we're coping. We're not in the vein of looking to shut down totally, because we understand the impact on employees, we understand the impact on the economy and so on. So we're trying to work with this virus, as we believe we will have to live with this virus as it continues to mutate, and we continue to be vaccinated, take booster shots where it's required and so on.
The latest update coming from the Ministry of Health was from Saturday with 30 new cases, which brought the tally to 1,764. 3 individuals were hospitalized, 36,111 fully vaccinated, 5,719 partially vaccinated, and 3,638 receiving the booster. I am Jaya Joseph for GBN News.
And staying with news from the business sector this evening, Republic Group has won the Corporate Governance Award for Financial Services for a second year. The Corporate Governance Award is given to various categories of businesses in various regions worldwide. We get more on this from Jared Joseph.
Having won in 2019, Republic Financial Holdings Limited has again been selected by the bi-monthly magazine Ethical Boardroom to receive the Best Corporate Governance Award for Financial Services. Republic Group seemingly continues to set the tone of good governance as it adopts measures that raise the level of awareness and practices in the organization, which drives value creation and long-term growth. Ethical Boardroom, a London-based magazine and website known for its critically acclaimed analysis of global governance issues, published the award in their December 2021 magazine. This honor recognizes that Republic Group is an industry leader in the adoption and execution of corporate governance best practices. According to Republic Financial Holdings Limited officials, the award comes on the heels of an outstanding year for the group, which has been heavily involved in climate financing. In November 2021, the Republic Group and New Energy hosted the first Caribbean ESG, Environmental, Social and Governance and Climate Finance Summit, with the aim of bringing together Caribbean borrowers, lenders and investors, and act as a catalyst in the creation of a new financing ecosystem. Republic Bank Grenada is part of the Republic Financial Holdings Limited family. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
And now it's time to turn our attention to what has been creating a buzz on social media. Sherry and Blackman Stephen has been peeking around the platforms.
We present the news. You analyze the various topics and distill the issues as they unfold. Your distillation points matter as we're about to highlight them in our Social Buzz Report.
A repeat offender had another day in court on Friday to answer multiple charges related to stealing, and 2 of those charges came following theft at a general hospital while he was a patient. GBN brought you this story, and you, our online audience, took to the comment section to air your views. Dan Cumberbatch says, so the nurses and the security at the hospital getting the blame when he ran away from the hospital? I didn't hear him say the police, but the nurses and security. Based on the circumstances, the police officer should be very close to him to prevent him from getting away. Daniel McEwen adds, Officer, your excuse is too weak. Come again. Naomi Williams asks, Officer, when you mention not as a result of police brutality, this raises a number of questions. Who, when, and how his hands got damaged. Donica Cox says, this is gross negligence on the police. What if this guy obtained some sharp tool as a weapon and harmed people in close proximity? And finally, Isha Ventu chimes in, so how could he evaded the security guard and the nurses in the hospital? No one checked in on him periodically or asked about him when they realized his bed is empty for a long period of time? And that's a wrap for tonight's Buzz. Continue to share your thoughts and concerns with us on our social media platforms.
We'll be back after these messages. Grenada Day is set for this weekend in Dubai. Already, a team of cultural performers and artists are there to participate. Let's get details from Kristalina John.
A 12-member delegation gets ready to leave the island for Dubai. They will participate in the Grenada Day celebration scheduled for roll-off on Saturday, January 15th in Dubai. The team is led by Senior Cultural Officer Adrian Mark. The team left the island earlier today for the next days. They are expected to showcase some of Grenada's best cultural pieces. Chief Cultural Officer Thomas Matthew provides a peek into the expected performances.
It's a national day where we have speeches and represent delegates, official delegates will be participating in that. So I'm not sure who will speak, but we have a small performance to give them a feel of Grenada. That would be about 5-10 minutes. And then on another day, there's a parade where they feature the country. So we have costumes like bele, shotni, and some other paraphernalia, along with our national flags. And that parade is about on a route of about 2.5 miles. So right around the entire, almost the entire main performing area or the expo area will take place. And we have performances, 20-minute performances, half-an-hour performances that we package together.
2 of Grenada's most versatile artists will also be showcased.
During our 2 main lead singers, which would be Dash and Tamara St. Bernard. They are backed by our band itself. And then we'd have a group of dancers who would perform things like bele and give you an illustration of some of our traditional dances. So we'll feature shotni, bele, veko, and jab for that day. And then we have other performances on other days that we feature artists. So we feature one performance, we feature Tamara and a suite of songs, Grenada based, and her own compositions along with Dasha.
Culture Minister Yolan Bain Hosford is pleased that the team is given such an exposure where they can enhance their knowledge.
An opportunity to look at other things that are happening around the world, the different pavilions that would have their different cultural displays, the different things that will be happening. It will be a great experience for them, and I'm happy that we have chosen quite a good team, quite a versatile team that can probably blend into anything with a lot of knowledge and culture, and so they would learn a lot more and they would be able to come back to Grenada and probably share some of the performances and some of the strategies that they would have learned.
Christina John, GBN News.
Great exposure there for Grenada. And now let's zoom in under the lens and see what's being put under the eyesore cap this evening.
A good eye captures all. GBN Eyesore is brought to you by Clear Vision.
Life is beautiful if only you can see it. Clear Vision Eye Center helps you do just that. We provide expert service, classy eyewear, and cutting-edge technology, all with a quality customer experience. See better, feel better, and look better. Meet us today at clearvisiongrenada.com or call 444-0055, WhatsApp 409-0055, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Clear Vision Eye Center. Let's see life and the world with a clear vision.
This is the alley between Halifax Street and Melville Street. Our citizen journalist wants to raise awareness of illegal dumping of waste material in this area. Our eyesore reporter says, quote, the disgusting mess continues, unquote. Experts say that there are long-term health and environmental effects related to waste exposure and illegal dumping. We thank our eyesore reporter for this submission. Send us your photo and video submissions via WhatsApp on 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
This is a message from the Ministry of Health. If you or a family member suspect that you may have contracted COVID-19 and are displaying symptoms, please immediately self-isolate at home. This means that you must also avoid all contact with other members of your household. Do not visit hospitals or health centers, as this creates the potential for further spread of the virus, and it puts additional persons at risk when you come into contact with them. Your best course of action is to call the COVID-19 hotline at 458-4787 or 538-4787 or contact.
That's not how you cross the pedestrian crossing.
Really? One day I just woke up and I saw pedestrian crosswalks on the road. No one really showed me how to use them properly.
Well, this is how it's done. You never cross before doing these things. They might save your life. First, when you get to the crosswalk, you stop. You look left, you look right. If there's a vehicle coming, you put your hand out, making eye contact with the driver, indicating that you want to cross. And only when the vehicle comes to a complete stop, you quickly cross to the other side.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact. Wait for pedestrian to cross to the other side, then you happily continue on your journey. This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
You know, Gary, I'm sitting in the background here, just absorbing that particular song there.
Nice music, boy. Big people music,
Big people music.
Big people music, Jay.
Grab some more, let me take it from the background just a bit.
We're getting ready to tap into our interview this morning, but we're going to give our interviewee a time to check in once that is done.
Settle in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Say good morning to, of course, those of you via GBN TV. Good morning. You're back with us once again. Thanks for sticking around after the news, and you just stick around because, of course, great things always happen here. You know that. Let me say good morning, of course, those of you via Facebook and YouTube. Good morning. Whatever part of the world you're at, don't forget you always could leave that comment. Let us know how you're vibing and so forth. We will certainly appreciate that a whole lot. And we do have, as Gary mentioned a while ago, we do have, of course, someone that we're going to be interviewing shortly, and we're going to tap into that in just a wee bit. Gary, we still haven't had anyone, of course, message. I've been looking at the WhatsApp pertaining to the health trivia that we threw out this morning.
Yeah.
And let me repeat it once again, just in case you missed it for whatever reason. The health trivia this morning, and do you know how many muscles do you use to take a single step forward? Let me repeat that once again. Do you know how many muscles do you use to take a single step forward? And we had the three answers, and they are 50, 200, or that's B, 200, or C, 450.
Which do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah.
You know, I happened to research it a while ago while we were off, and I realized, hey, interesting answer. So
we're going to get to that in a while. Yeah, man.
All right. So, folks, get set for that. Don't forget, we do also have the celebrations list coming up. We're going to, of course, tap into that shortly. Those who are celebrating already see, of course, via WhatsApp, a couple of folks already sent their greeting and so forth for who will be celebrating today. I'm going to take care of you shortly. Don't worry about that. We're certainly going to take care of the list. It's K105, Hot 98. Good morning, Grenada.
Well, what we can do is, while we're waiting on, of course, our contact this morning, we can probably get into the birthday line.
Let's get into the birthday list. Let's get into the birthday list. Let's get into the birthday list. Let me pop my list up this morning. Pretty lengthy as always. And let's kick it off this morning. Let's say good morning to Jabari Bernard of Telescope. Good morning to Jabari. How you doing? Happy birthday. Actually, of course, is it 14 years old today? 14 years old. Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday, man.
All the best on your birthday today. Hey, we back with you. Yeah, we back with you. Let's come into the birthday list. Let me say good morning to Darren Pope of Pearls in St. Andrew. Good morning to Darren. Happy birthday to you. Also, Tonisha Williams. She's in the US of A. Good morning to Tonisha. How you doing this morning? Her mom and her granddaughter. Wishing her a happy birthday also. Let's say good morning to Glenn Bob, a.k.a. Soup of Providence, Brudge Grove. Good morning. He's a well-known bus driver. I guess you know Soup guy. You know Soup guy? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Hey, good morning to you, Soup. Take it easy, man.
I think so. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. All the members of his family shutting out this morning, wishing him a happy birthday. Lydon Paul, how you doing? Of Subies, good morning and happy birthday. He has an AKA Debu. Ooh, good morning, man. Happy birthday. Let's say good morning to Estelle Hazard of Lower Capital, Brudge Grove. Estelle, good morning. How are you? Happy birthday. All the best on your B-Day today. A well-known seamstress. All the best on your B-Day, man. Happy birthday. Agnes Lewis of Marigot and St. John. Agnes, good morning. How are you? Happy birthday. Let's say good morning to Pastor Theodore Lebert of Guava State. Good morning to you. Attached to the New Testament Church of God. Good morning and happy birthday also. And let's say good morning to Shireen Gilbert of Mali in St. Patrick, a teacher at the Waltham Secondary School. And I'll wrap up at number 10 here, Gary, and I'll let you do a couple, and then we come back and then we get into an interview. Let's say good morning to Helen Smart Duncan of Guava State in St. John. Helen, good morning. How are you? Happy birthday.
Yes, Lloydris Richards of Riverside St. Patrick, happy birthday to you. And Kinder Williams of Pearl St. Andrew, who actually resides in Texas. Happy birthday. And Bernadine Best of Mount Horn St. Andrew, coming from her son Ian, sister Caitlin, and friend Rachel. Also, Jillian Charles of Coles Gap in St. David, coming from her mother, Shelley, husband Terry, and auntie Mona David and family. Also, happy birthday to Decima Alexander of Cloger St. John, coming from her mother, Clary, and other relatives and friends. And of course, Khalid Odell, ranger of Sab St. Andrew, student of the St. Andrews Anglican Primary School, celebrating 10 years, coming from his mother, Lisa, and Shireen Noel of Mali St. Patrick, teacher at the St. Mark's Secondary School. Happy birthday, Akida Filbert, aka Kiba of Riverside St. Patrick's, coming from her mother Bernadine and father Efford, daughter Zavana, special friend Clary, son Deshaun, and sister Katisha. Tell you what, I think we've got, of course, our friend who is tapping in via the Zoom. We'll probably will return to the birthday a bit later on, but we have important people who want to keep them waiting. You never know what's going on. I understand.
I probably have a different description. We can't keep a lovely lady waiting.
That too. So we're gonna
get started. Waiting. We can't do that.
Yes, I'll tell my friends in TV Land and those listening to us via Hot 98 and Classic 105. We've got someone all the way from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. All right, so you're in for a treat this morning. And once Master Control is ready, we gonna bring her in, and we're gonna talk some things this morning. All right.
I just say talk the things.
We're gonna talk the things. So let's get, of course, our friend up, Adriana
King out of St. Vincent. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to you as well.
Sleep does you well. Oh my good heavens me. You glowing this morning.
Why, thank you.
Wonderful. Listen, I am doing great. My name is Gary Mr. Smooth. On my other end, it's, of course, GT Glenn, who is, of course, will be double teaming you this morning. I hope you don't mind.
I guess she wouldn't mind. Good morning to you, Adriana. Nice meeting you. And you hail from St. Vincent. Tell us something about St. Vincent. Something about yourself and St. Vincent before we kick it off this morning.
Okay, well, St. Vincent and Grenadines, gem of the Antilles, beautiful country, as you would know. We are blessed with beautiful scenery, landscape, and people. But lately we have been going through some, local issues, and we're trying our best to I wouldn't say react, but to deal with these issues that we've had, political issues, issues surrounding the volcanic eruption and all of that. Well, as you said, my name is Adriana King. I am a teacher by profession. I am actually now on suspension because of my work as a social and political activist.
Do you need me to come over there and talk to Ralph for you?
Well, you should, because I have a matter that is going to be before the court in March, in which he claims that I blocked him from entering Parliament. So you should really and truly give him a call.
Interesting story there, Gary.
What did you do? Excuse me?
Apparently, I blocked him from entering Parliament.
I thought you were the one that bust his head.
No, I don't think she did.
Well, there was something circulating, my photo was plastered all over the Caribbean and on international.
Oh, my good heavens me.
Oh, man.
As the one who did that. But, strange thing is, the lady who was eventually charged, all charges were dropped.
Oh, really?
Now you're hearing the police. Yeah. And now you're hearing the police is saying that, we should ask her if she's through a curing. Go figure.
Oh, man.
Curing.
Oh, man.
Interesting.
That's
a very dangerous object.
Darling, and in the hands of a lady over 60 at a distance of about, I don't know yards, maybe 10 yards or so. Very dangerous.
Very, very, very.
Beware of old women who show up at protests with curing. Okay?
Hey, Adriana, how you guys are coping with COVID-19 over there? What's the status right about now?
Okay, I honestly can't give you any figures because I figured you would ask this question, and I said, you know what, I'm not even going to look on what the Ministry of Health has put out because we have a very unique or maybe not so unique situation right now. Schools reopened last Monday.
As did here.
And excuse me?
As did here in Grenada.
Okay, good. And by Thursday, messages were going out from principals and teachers to keep children at home and take them to be tested. The thing is this, you go to the flu clinics, government flu clinics, and you're told two things. One, if you have any sort of symptoms related to COVID, and we know COVID symptoms are flu-like symptoms, they are cold-like symptoms. So if you go there with a runny nose and perhaps a headache or sore throat or whatever, any sort of symptom, they list you as having COVID-19. If you don't show any symptoms, but you see that you've been exposed, then they say, okay, you have to go home and isolate for 5 days. So for instance, my daughter's school now, everybody's at home. The Georgetown Secondary School, they're at home. St. Martin Secondary School, they're at home. So a number of schools have gone back to online learning and teaching. But we're not being tested, because what they're saying is that there are no test kits at the government facilities, and private testing starts from about $150 and up. So could you imagine, you just prepared a child for the reopening of school last week, Monday, and let's say you have 2 or 3 children at school. Now you have to plug out another $300 to do private testing. And let's not forget, our Prime Minister, Ralphie Gonsalves, said plainly that Vincentians are living in extreme poverty. And that's no lie. I will not dispute that. So it is really hard right now to say exactly how many people here have actually tested positive, since the flu clinics, the government flu clinics, they're not doing any testing.
Wow. That's a serious outlook there, but
well, we're gonna shift course and get into the real meat of the matter, Adriana. For those of you just tuning in and looking at us via, of course, the various social media platform, we are talking to activists. Is it okay if I say that? Activist,
yes,
teacher, and she carries many handles, I'll tell you that for sure. Adriana King out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But what really made me want to reach out to you this morning, because there is a situation, we want to get an idea as to the pulse on the ground right about now of the people with regard to a male figure who was charged and sentenced to 4 years in prison for sexual assault on a minor. All right, so just walk us through that. We in as condensed as a form as you possibly can. Just walk us through this story, and let's get an idea as to the pulse of the people on the street as this story relates.
Okay, so I think it was last week or week before, a video surfaced on WhatsApp and on other social media platforms. It showed a man engaged in oral sex with his daughter, his 4-year-old daughter. She was performing the act of fellatio on him. Now, like I said, the video went around very quickly. He was picked up by the police, taken to the family court. And let me say here, the family court, according to our criminal code, is the court that is legislated to deal with these matters, okay? So he was taken to the family court, and he eventually got 4 years for indecent assault. Now, people saying, oh, it's not enough, give him this, give him that. But you cannot give somebody what's not on the books. So here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, he could not have been charged, based on what is in the video, he could not have been charged with rape, because our legal definition of rape does not include oral sex or digital sex, right? It's a very archaic law, and it needs to be revised. And I wish Vincentians would really and truly stand up and push for these things to be changed, but here's where we are. So based on what's on the books right now, he won't be charged for that. He won't even be charged he won't be charged now, unless, of course, the investigation is ongoing and they were to do a medical examination and find out that the girl was penetrated, vaginal penetration took place. Then he could be eventually charged for that. he, as it stands now, based on the video, won't be charged for what's the word I'm looking for here? Gosh, it just went straight out of my mind here now.
Don't worry about it. It happens to the best of us.
I know, right? Why incest? There it is. Yes, he won't be charged for incest because, again, incest, according to what's on our books, has to do with sexual intercourse.
Right.
Oh, man.
Yes. And, the sad thing about it is that this is not the first time, we're dealing with a matter like this as a nation. As a matter of fact, if you were to speak to some of our social workers, they would tell you that at least every week they're dealing with at least 2 issues of rape of a minor. And unfortunately, our lawmakers they are unwilling to touch this matter and to revise the laws. Reasons they alone could give you, but I could speculate since, for instance, our Prime Minister himself has been accused publicly of rape. One matter related to a police officer was thrown out by the DPP a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. And even though the Prime Minister himself said that he gave her a quote-unquote reassuring kiss, which to me is tantamount to assault, sexual assault. If it wasn't asked for by the woman, it wasn't agreed upon by the woman, it's sexual assault. But that matter was thrown out. Right. So we have a situation now where these matters happen in relation to children. A girl was gang raped in a school bathroom. Another was assaulted by her grandfather, another by a local preacher. And there's just too many of these stories. Yes. There are too many of these stories, and Vincentians have yet to become as incensed as it should be to push to get proper things in place to protect our children. Even our Child Care Adoption Act does not say anything in relation to punishment of such persons. All it says is that children who have become victims of any sort of sexual assault, etc., must be protected. But there's nothing that is, well, the person who has violated them should be dealt with, in such and such a manner.
Adriana, let me ask you this. You say that so many cases are happening. You say that sexual assault on youngsters in St. Vincent is becoming a cause for concern right now.
It has been a cause for concern for years. We have had a number of protests. I know the NDP had protests about 3 or so years ago. I remember one of our very popular pastors was there, Pastor Richards. He was there. A friend of mine, Denise Stevens, she has had her own one-man protest. I joined her in that, under the Market Square. We were there for about a week or so. So from time to time, there's been that. But in terms of a national something, no. We once had a march against buggery. And I'm telling you, almost the entire nation came out for that event. But in relation to protection of our children, we talk a lot. We go on social media and we say, if it were my child, I would do this. If he were my neighbor, I would do that. This couldn't happen to me. But then Vincentians don't hit the streets. They don't protest enough. They don't demand of the government that they put better laws in place. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
So, Adriana, are you actually saying, the issue of it is still a hush-hush issue in St. Vincent, where we could say that, the public concern is kept back, especially for the individual who may, or the perpetrator per se. You feel that there's still that bit of a hush-hush about it? And you said, I know you also mentioned, though, it's minimal in terms of the individuals who may come out to protest. Is that a kind of a norm in St. Vincent where it's kind of held back, we ain't saying nothing because? You could say that.
Well, in terms of protest action in St. Vincent and Grenadines, the numbers are often quite small. That incident in which the Prime Minister was injured, that was perhaps the largest protest that we've seen in decades here in the country. Usually just a small, bit of persons will come out, and that's because people are so fearful of political victimization. You might think that, okay, if I'm standing up for or against, child rape or any sort of rape or any sort of sexual violence, then nobody should be victimizing me for that. But you might be surprised. The persons who have done it and received calls, how could you do that to me? Or you're trying to make the government look bad, that sort of thing. And so a lot of people, they hold back. Right. They hold back.
Well, I'll tell you what, Adriana, one of the reasons why I welcomed you onto the program is because your situation in St. Vincent as it exists right about now is not unique to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. All right. We've had similar situations here in Grenada where there have been situations like that where seemingly concerns about the how light the sentencing turned out to be. And even up to recently, we've had another story that just broke about a lecturer now who is now being charged for, of course, assault, sexual assault. I think that's the term that was used.
Yes.
All right. So what I'm saying is that it's not unique. So I just wanted to bring you in so that when Grenadians hear your story and get a picture of what's happening in St. Vincent, they would say, okay, so we are in this fight together. We all are in this together. It is not unique to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Stuff like this is happening right here in Grenada as well. And we just want to, of course, raise awareness of what's happening so that more people can get up and let's fight that good fight, because, of course, the young children are our future and they need our protection by all means possible. In closing, what you would like to say to us, Adriana?
Like I kept alluding to or saying plain, if, depends on who's listening. One of the things that we need to do, we need to push for better laws to protect our children. In terms of indecent assault in St. Vincent and Grenadines, if it's committed against a child under 5 years, the maximum is 2 years. That's it. So we could be outraged every time this thing happens.
Effectively, somebody could spend more time in jail, without cutting. Somebody could spend more time in jail for stealing a produce, a watermelon,
and for marijuana. And you can spend more time in jail or be charged more severely for sharing that video of that man, rather than the man.
Yeah. Wow. And of course, I know we're not encouraging people to share the video because, that is just wrong. But we definitely.
Child pornography. Yeah. And at some point in that child's life, it's going to pop up and you wouldn't want to be that child.
Yeah, definitely. But I understand that they are very strict with folks in possession of or circulating that particular video. And that's what's happening in St. Vincent right now. Adriana, I wish we had.
They're not enforcing the law.
They're not what?
Yeah. They're not enforcing it.
They're not enforcing it. It's just lip service.
Adriana, I also want to, of course, wish you all the best in your matter coming up.
Yes, indeed.
Court. And I hope all sense prevails and they just shoot that out. They just shoot that out.
Common sense and good reasoning.
Yeah. So hope to see you in Grenada soon, one of these good days.
Have you been to Grenada before, by the way?
Yes, I have.
Right.
I have a cousin who studied at St. George's University and I actually spent a week or so there with her. I love Grenada.
Yes.
So let me say hello to Angus.
Oh, Angus Steele?
Yes.
You know people, man.
I know people.
Hey,
Adriana, we got to run, but thanks a lot for popping in inside of Good Morning Grenada. It's a pleasure having you.
It was a pleasure.
Certainly the pleasure was ours having you. All right. So that was Adriana King out of St. Vincent there, of course, gave us an insight of a lot of information pertaining what's happening in St. Vincent.
Yeah, just a little insight of what's going on.
Yo, man. Thank you once again, Adriana. Have yourself a lovely, lovely, lovely day.
Wow.
Hey, folks, man, that's think about the stats, Gary, in terms of what she said, what's going on in St. Vincent, and you reverted to what's happening here in Grenada. It's crazy what's going on in the world, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just sad that we have all these.
I just worry also about why is it people have that attention to young children? I don't know why. Grown men.
I would not even try to wrap my mind around it because it's like it's a waste of time.
I understand.
It's a waste of time. You get to try to understand. It's just a waste of time.
And we're talking about family members also, the incest part of it.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask her, but I forgot. But I understand that the individual from what I've been hearing, is the child's father.
Father, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You know, sometimes you don't want to get into those stories on air. You understand? You know, these conversations always seem to be a better off-air conversation, but it comes to a time.
But I think
a time when we just got to talk about.
That is what's been stirring and empowering the perpetrators, because we tend to hush to keep our mouth shut, and for fear of hurting someone, or
what I think also
being victimized in one way or the other.
You know what I think also? There's no consequences for these things, and I think that's the bottom line. Folks are doing these things for years, and you're hearing it's been mentioned on TV and the news, and everybody's talking about it. The next week you hear it happen again.
Yeah,
because some of folks, there's no consequence. I can do that. In Grenada they say there's a 7-day conversation for everything that happens. We talk for 7 days, and then your topic comes up. That's gonna be talked about for another 7 days, and then everybody seems to forget it and move on.
Here is a sad reality in a situation like this, and this has been going on for ages right about now. All right, in the community. So Tom molests this child. All right, and of course the families of both parties come together and say, listen, I don't want my child name out there. I mean, I don't want my child to be made fun of in school. Granny might get worried, and Granny might take this on. Granny might die. You know what I mean? It's just too much. The name of our family would be dragged through the dirt for generations. We may never recover from this. So let's not bring this out there. And this is what's been going on for generations. That's why we've never been hearing about these things.
That's what I'm saying.
And it continues to this day.
There's no real action taken against anyone in a real serious way that deters people from wanting to do this again. If someone did this and they've been taken, I mean, I'm not going to go that drastic. I'm just using it as a bit of a reference. And you're probably taken to the market square and give a real song flogging. And I say, well, I don't want to get into that because I saw the public humiliation that happened. I don't want to get into that. And I think that's a problem. People are not.
And people don't call any names. Look at the recent incident that happened here in Grenada. Again, the name of the individual has been.
You hear talk through the grapevine, but sometimes you don't
I know who the individual is because of my position. All right? But why is the name not brought out there? If the person's been charged, he's been arrested.
And you can walk around the streets of St. George and no big deal because nobody knows it's you.
Yeah.
You understand? Ah, man.
This is where we at.
This is where we at.
Anyhow, let's go back to the trivia, shall we?
Yes.
And let's get the answer.
Well, I did see someone have the answer here. I mean, let's see if we get a call or two. Let's see if we get a call or two. We had a WhatsApp where someone actually did post the answer, but we don't have a name for it for the individual per se. But could we just go with it?
The health trivia is do you know how many muscles you use to take a single step forward? Lovely trivia this morning. The answer, you have the 3 different answers to choose from: 50, 200, 450. Which do you think? You might be surprised.
Well, someone. We have a caller. Let's take the caller, guy. Let's see if this caller is correct this morning. Let's take this caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Go again.
Good.
What's the answer? 200. Wow. He says 200. We'll find out if that's the correct answer. All right. Thanks a lot.
We will find out.
Yes, indeed. We'll find out.
Well,
he said 200.
Yeah, he said 200.
We have that person also on WhatsApp. What that person saying it?
And they actually give their name. Let's I wonder if it's the individual I'm seeing here. I'm not sure. Let's just leave that like that.
Right.
Well, we have two answers there now. Someone did call in and give the answer, and we have it via Facebook. Do you want to just get it over with?
Yeah, let's get it over with. We got a lot of things to deal with. We got to get back to
individual. You're correct. The answer is actually 200. You use 200 muscles just to make that simple or that single step forward. Just to lift your leg and move it, Gary.
Just that,
Just that. You're actually using 200 muscles. So if you never knew that, well, as they say, no, you know.
It's amazing, those trivias that it just give you some knowledge that you probably would not have had previously, and hence the reason why we get down to the trivia every morning as best we can. Of course, let's send some shout outs and some love once again to our friends on Facebook. Yes,
and YouTube. Gary, we don't have a song or tune for the date for today. Apology for that. And man.
Yeah, all apologies for that. We can get back to finish the birthday shout outs.
I'm just seeing a crazy message. I hope I'm not describing it the wrong way. Someone actually saying, no wonder they are fat people. Oh boy.
We'll leave that there.
Oh man. Anyway.
It went on to say, depending on how you divide up the muscle groups, just to take a single step, you use a lot of muscles. Most of us take about 10,000 steps a day. So many muscles you use to take one single step. So many muscles, of course, you take. So the next time you are off for a little walk, remember the hard work. Your muscles are putting in.
I do have this app on my phone that tracks my steps every day, and I've been capping per se. 7,000 plus every day, Gary.
Yeah,
7,000 plus. We're talking about just regular walking, and I think it's good. I set a target there. I want 8,000, but sometimes I don't really get to that 8,000 mark. But I will tap a 7,003, 7,005. I don't think I ever passed the 5 for some reason or the other, but it happens. You just keep that phone in your pocket and walking around, and it actually tracks your steps.
I really couldn't be bothered with those things, man.
You don't bother with it?
No.
I give them a little attention, I give them a little attention. You know me and technology. I do give them a little bit of attention because sometimes I prove that it's correct. I can actually prove that it's correct because in terms of what I did, I can say, I think it's correct.
I'm not trying to lose weight, so I don't really. I'm trying to put on a little weight.
You're trying to put on some weight.
Yeah, I'm trying to put on a little weight. You know what I mean? You want to get back to the birthday?
Let's shout out. Of course, we do have a couple more folks on the list this morning, so it's like a double dose of the celebrations this morning. Let's kick it off with, of course, who's kicking in from this segment? Alma Drakes. Good morning. You doing? Happy birthday. She's part of the housekeeping staff at the General Hospital. You're celebrating today. Good morning and happy birthday. Let's say good morning to Audrey Antoine of La Pastora. That's in St. David's. Those areas, man. Let's say good morning also to Nixon Lewis. So you doing, Nixon? Happy birthday. All the best on your B-Day today. From St. Patrick. Greetings going out to him this morning from his mom. That's Glenna, his dad, Vaso. Brothers, sisters, the entire family showing out this morning. Let's say good morning to Nyron Sylvester of Sates, celebrating today. Tarika Bernadine, good morning to you, Tarika. How you doing this morning? All the best on your birthday. Yolande Alexander Prince. Yes, Yolanda Alexander Prince of Duquesne and St. Mark. Greetings going out to her this morning from her husband Lloyd. And we have Akeda Blesdale of Victoria St. Mark. Good morning to you. Happy birthday. She's actually a student of the St. Mark's Secondary. Gary, you want to tap in there now? Or you want
Tashan Charles. Tashan Charles. Don't mind if I do. Tashan Charles of Canal Road, Grenville, attached to the M&N Hardware, coming from the Charles family. Kelvin Nicholas of Windsor Forest, student of the St. Dominic Primary School, celebrating 9 years, coming from his mother and father, Charlene and Kelvin, brothers and sisters, and other family members and friends. The Honorable Clarice Modeste Cohen of St. Mark.
Lady. Happy birthday.
From the Daltress Jensen and other members of the Hostin family. So, happy birthday to you.
Yeah. Let's say good morning to Nixon Lewis and Nyron Sylvester. Good morning and happy birthday from members of the family. And who else do I have on the list this morning? And of course, these are some WhatsApp birthday celebrants this morning. And let's say good morning to Asna Shania Cooper of Willis. Hope I'm getting the names right. 14 years old today. Happy birthday and all the best on her birthday today. Lots of love, God's guidance. Lots of love sung out to you this morning. Certainly hope that you have an enjoyable day today on your birthday. Who else is on the list, Gary? Let me just see who else is on the list. Let me say good morning to Morris Charles.
Go through.
Morris Charles, aka Papa of Blackburn. Ali instead of Victoria celebrating today. Actually, 5 years old. Good morning to you, small man. Happy birthday to you from your mom and your grandmom this morning, Philip. Wishing you a happy birthday. Ron Alexander of La Poterie. Good morning. Happy birthday. All the best on your B-Day today. And I think, Gary, that's it for the list. Let me double check the WhatsApp messages this morning. Do we have any more? I actually think that's it. That's it for the list for this morning.
For those of you who might have missed it, we would just like to go back to the COVID-19 dashboard.
Yeah.
And if you missed it this morning, well, tell you what, man, we now stand at 501 new confirmed cases in Grenada. Our question to you, do you think it's about time that the government start to consider getting back into a lockdown? All right? Do you think it's time?
I certainly will be against it, Gary. I'll certainly be against it. And of course, I just think it's important that we as a people, of course, put our health and everything else in front of the regular old talk. You understand? And be serious about COVID. That folks have to know that COVID is here to stay. It's going to be around for a wee bit. You understand? It's going to be around for a wee bit. And all you have to do is protect yourself. Follow the protocols that have been stipulated by the Ministry of Health. Washing your hands or sanitize per se. Wear your mask. I'm still seeing folks on buses and so forth driving around there in buses and they're not wearing their mask. That's not good. You understand? Maintain social distance. If you look at folks, within the tongue of St. George, sometime I'm driving through and I'm see folks gathering and sometimes in the groups of 10 or more, there may be only just 2 individuals wearing a mask.
Yeah, we've become so complacent over the last few months over the last month.
But we don't having any cases that we think all is well.
Steadily decreasing. We kind of slumped into a state of complacency, if that's a word, and we are now in a situation where we have to possibly revisit that's another set of lockdowns and so forth and so on, and God forbid that's the call that's going to be made in the not too distant future. I'm not looking forward to it. If that's the case, I don't know about you. I know a lot of folks might be clamoring for another lockdown. I for one, I'm a little bit hesitant.
Well, as I said, I'm not for another lockdown. I'm just encouraging we as a people here in Grenada to follow the protocols, and I think it can make a whole lot of difference. Because I think it's getting contact the virus is because of our complacency. You understand? We ain't doing the right thing, and that is what actually is causing the problem. So if we try to do what is right, and you will see a whole lot of difference. Because if a lot of these people who are probably coming up with the virus now, it could be their lack of not following the proper protocols per se. And sometimes folks, sometimes we can't always say that too, Gary. Sometimes it has been brought home to you. You understand? It comes to your house. COVID is like a visitor per se. He just fall in.
You just never know. I honestly believe at some point in time someone or yourself is going to come down with COVID. Thank God the Omicron is not proven to be severe, although the World Health Organization is saying something different. But as it is right about now, we are thankful that it's the Omicron, and I'm assuming here, based on the last update and message we got from the Minister of Health, that the dominant variant here in Grenada seemed very much to be the Omicron.
Well, I was actually asked you that this morning, because after we were told the last 11 cases, I don't think there was mention of any more Omicron per se. So we're getting the stats in terms of how many people have been, tested positive.
Because I think they have to go through the sequencing, and it's rather.
So I'm wondering if it's still the Delta that we are going through, or if it's the new cases that we're having now. Is it the Omicron? Because they say the Omicron do spend a bit faster.
Based on what the minister said, is that it's a process, and it's not feasible to be sequencing every case. It's not feasible. You know what I mean?
That's understandable. That's understandable.
So out of 100, you might just sample maybe about 8 or 10 folks, and
I have a little concern. I hope it's not going to cause an issue. But someone actually spoke to me yesterday who actually went to a health center. All right, and they were told, and of course this is I confirmed the information that if you were tested already and you were tested positive, all right, at the various health centers around you, at any of the health centers, and you were tested positive, and you did the quarantine time per se that you were allotted to, they're not going to give you another test. What do you think about that? They were told they're not going to give you another test because if you came already and you got tested, yes, you were positive. They told you go home and quarantine, and then you want to come back and make sure of your status.
Yeah,
understand?
Based on what the experts are saying,
there's no need for it.
There is no need for it because the virus can only survive in your body for a certain period of time.
That I understand, but I'm just saying now, you tested positive, you go home, you spend your quarantine time, whatever. Okay, you want to be tested again. All right, to make sure that you don't have the virus, because you don't want to get complacent. No, I spent my 7 days or whatever. I don't think I have the virus, but next thing you do have it within you for some reason or the other, and you're spreading it to other people.
Well, and again, based on the experts, they are saying that over a period of time, it cannot transmit it.
Okay.
After a certain period of time.
That I understand. I was just a bit concerned why you were saying that.
Under that reasoning, then I understand that. But, it is what it is. Under that reasoning, I understand, okay, the virus can only stay within your body for a certain period of time. You can only pass it on over a period of time, but after that, it's no longer transmissible from you.
Okay.
All right. So,
but I'm just saying. I'm just saying too.
I get you.
The individuals who may just want to know their status still. I understand.
Hey, don't forget tomorrow we will be tuning in to GIS and indeed GBN TV.
The Prime Minister's press conference.
There's going to be a press conference, and all the different media houses going to be there to get loads of questions in. I'm sure. I'm not too sure if any sort of pronouncements will be made during that press conference.
Well, we're hoping for the best. I guess it may be just one of those regular chit-chat in terms of where the Prime Minister take questions from folks of the media, journalists and stuff, ask him questions, and of course, and he will give his answers to them. I guess it's going to be one of those situations once again.
We're getting ready to wrap up here this morning on, of course, GBN TV, Facebook, and on YouTube. Remember the supermarket in River Road, remember it's closed because of an outbreak there. So folks, if you're traveling or considering going to that supermarket, bear in mind that supermarket in River Road is closed. That's Charlo's supermarket. Not too sure. They're going to be closed for maybe a few days.
I think they're going to continue up until about the 13th.
Yeah, they're going to continue to evaluate the situation, and they would, of course, let the public know what's happening. But I honestly would like to say kudos and hats off to
not
these
much
folks.
Business establishment will actually do that.
Exactly. I want to say hats
they
off
just
to
close
Charlo's.
and don't tell anybody anything.
They have exhibited responsibility. All right, they have exhibited a lot of responsibility and adherence to the protocols. Whereas a lot of people might have decided to put money ahead of that decision. All right, so kudos to you, Charlo, and we wish you guys all the best and your staff as well. We hope that they come through this and come out on the other side stronger and better.
They actually said this was actually done to protect the other staff members. Some of the staff who may have come down with the virus, and the other staff members, they want to protect them and their customers also. You understand? They want to protect them. They decided
that's what
to
you
make
call
that.
accountability.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So that's what we're going to take a wrap for today.
We're going to wrap it up
for today.
Yeah, man.
The pleasure has always been, of course, been mine and Gary's, of course, being here with you folks in the morning time, sharing the info, playing you the good music, and much more. Join us again tomorrow. You never know what's to come. We're going to have the tune for tomorrow. We're going to have it for tomorrow.
We definitely
will. The interview kind of cap it in a little bit, so we couldn't have time fit it in. But tomorrow, we're going to share loads more of information for you, and certainly hope that your day will turn out a great one. And of course, we get you up and running. Yeah, full gears.
Yes, right? Man. For those on Hot 98, we return to regular programming, and for those on GBN TV, regular programming.
Mm-hmm. Get set for BBC World News coming up. Get set for the BBC World News coming up. That will be at 8 a.m. Stick around for that. Have a peaceful day, Grenada, and those of you around the world who are tuned in, have yourselves a wonderful day. This is where we say peace, and we are out of here.